Hello, Pirate fans. Welcome to another edition of Hall Talk. As basketball season is well into conference play, I can think of two words: patience, but exhilaration. First, our extensive coverage with the men's basketball team in a crucial homestand continues. After falling to St. John's on the road at Madison Square Garden 2 games ago, the men's team bounced back with an impressive and maybe season-changing win against Creighton at Prudential Center on Wednesday night. Led by Kadeen Carrington's 41-point performance, the Pirates trumped the Blue Jays 87-81 to improve to 6-7 in Big East play. Can the Pirates continue their momentum Saturday against number 2 nationally ranked and Big East rival Villanova? Our analysts have all the answers. Moving to the women's side, it has been a rough week for the Pirates as they were recently beat by double digits against both Georgetown and Villanova. Both games in historic Walsh Gymnasium, keep in mind. The wheels are starting to fall off the train with 3 games to go, and what do the women need to do moving forward to avoid this? Our analysts will predict shortly. Lastly, baseball and softball seasons are vastly approaching, and we have an exclusive interview with softball players Chris Ahead and Alexis Walkden coming up in studio. So stay tuned, take a seat, and buckle your seatbelts. This is Hall Talk. And welcome back. Now it's time for me to introduce my panelists for the evening. A double match show, Matt Lamb, Matt Ambrose. Glad to be here, guys.
Thanks for having us, Dylan.
Thanks.
And we'll jump right in. Men's basketball losing to St. John's earlier this weekend, or this past weekend, but a huge win against Creighton a few nights ago. Matt Ambrose, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on a 1-1 week?
It was a bad start Saturday at St. John's at Madison Square Garden. The shot blocking of St. John's was evident throughout the day. And also the turnover problem for Seton Hall. 18 turnovers turned into 30 Red Storm points. And Pirate Nation was feeling a little bit down after that game. And then you come into Wednesday night, everyone hanging their heads, but they got lifted after Kadeen Carrington's 41-point performance. Just an unbelievable performance. First 40-point game by Seton Hall Pirate since Sterling Gibbs back in 2014. It's an unbelievable performance from him.
Yeah, the game against St. John's, isn't really as significant as a loss now, considering the homestand that the Pirates are currently in. Getting that win against Creighton yesterday was a real statement win for the program. They needed one like that in conference play. I haven't had one to this point yet, so it really helps out the Pirates' cause.
And now Kadeen Carrington, a historic night, like you mentioned, 40 points, finally breaks out of the slump. The key is, can he contain this down the stretch? The team really needs him to play well, Matt Lamb, and be the alpha dog and be the leading scorer.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be as much of a scorer as he does a leader to this team. And I think they both need to work hand in hand. We know he could score the ball. He knows he's great at getting to the rim. But I think Kadeen Carrington at this point needs to be able to lead this team, be that backcourt presence that this team is really looking for. I mean, you have Angel Delgado in the front court, leading you guys in the post, but who's going to be able to take control of the ball in the backcourt when the team needs it most in the clutch? And Carrington, I think, is able to do that.
We saw a little bit last night. We caught a glimpse of the non-conference Kadeen Carrington, where we saw putting up 20 points a night. Kind of got back to that after a little bit of a slump. He's really the guy that the Pirates need to rely on. He showed that in the non-conference, but at the beginning of Big East play, they were kind of lost. It was, who do we go to with the ball? They didn't have that go-to scorer, and that's really why they struggled at the beginning of Big East play and find themselves at 6-7 right now. But after last night, Kadeen Carrington reestablished himself as the go-to guy on this team with that performance. And not even just in the point department. Look across the line. 7 assists, 5 rebounds, attacking the glass.
4 steals, too.
Yes, exactly. Attacking the glass, getting to the line 22 times. Driving to the basket with reckless abandon. Just an amazing job by him.
And Carrington has been criticized of possibly not being able to live up to that number 1 scoring role. And obviously he needs help. Angel Delgado, Desi Rodriguez, the only 3 players in double digits last night. They need to be there. Which one is the X factor going down the stretch?
I think it's Desi Rodriguez. With the 2 other guys you mentioned, Carrington and Delgado. Carrington, you know what you expect from him. You expect him to be the scorer. You expect him to be the facilitator on the offensive end of the court. Delgado is the beast down low. They call him the best big man in the Big East for a reason. He showed it last night with a 17-point, 17-rebound performance. Those 2 guys you have expectations for. Desi Rodriguez, it's a little hit or miss with him. He'll go out there and he'll give you a nice 20-point game. The next night out, he could give you about a 5 or 6 point game, a poor shooting night. He needs to become more consistent on the offensive end and also crash the glass a little bit more. Last night, only getting 3 rebounds, so crash the glass more and also watch the turnovers. St. John's had 6 last night, 4 turnovers for Desi. he needs to watch it there.
Your X factor.
I have to think it's Angel Delgado rather than Desi Rodriguez, just because, we've been depending on Angel Delgado all season, and he's been able to live up to that expectation. When you go down low, it was proven last night over Justin Patton that Angel Delgado is the best big man in this conference, and he was really someone that was able to step up, and he got his chance at the line. He's been a much more improved free throw shooter in the past few games, especially. And Carrington went 18 for 22 from the line. Let's not forget that. He's only a 65% free throw shooter.
You mentioned the battle down low with Patton and Delgado. I think Delgado, like you said, affirmed his status as the best big man in this conference. Because Justin Patton, there were 12 NBA scouts there last night looking at Justin Patton. They weren't there for Angel Delgado, but he made their focus shift to Delgado. He put on a show.
And now shifting gears a bit, both sides of the ball important defensively. This team, Javon Thomas, leaves the university earlier in the week. Does the lack of point guard at this team hurt them?
I think it does as far as depth goes. I mean, Javon Thomas is only averaging about 10 minutes a game. That's part of the reason why he had left. But I think that without having somebody there, there's really no true point guard on this team other than Madison Jones.
Yeah. And is Madison Jones good enough?
We've seen glimpses. I mean, the last couple games we saw good outputs from Jones. The last two games, not so much. I mean, what is his purpose out there? Is it to play defense? Is it to spread the ball around? Is it to score? He needs to really focus on one area of the floor, commit to that, because we haven't really seen that much from Jones.
And real quickly, Villanova coming up. Real quickly, one word. Do they beat Nova?
I don't think so.
With momentum, yes.
Okay, Matt Lamb being excited here. Moving forward now to the women's side of the court. Two bad losses this week against Villanova and Georgetown, both by double digits. This team has only scored 70 or more points twice during their conference play, their first 15 games. What is wrong?
I think it's the offense, it's the defense. They kind of work hand in hand into what is not really working for Seton Hall. I mean, for the Lady Pirates, it's just you're not able to finish inside. It's tough to have that big presence down low. Liberty Gordon can only do so much, and Claire Lundberg has been really streaky to this point this season. And without having that production, that consistent production from Kayla Hilaire or Jaquan Jackson, that it's really tough when they're cold. This team is really cold.
You said it right there. Jackson and Hilaire are the two that drive this truck. And on Sunday, Hilaire was out with an illness, and Jaquan Jackson was out for the first half, and the Pirates struggled. It was a combination of poor offensive play from the Pirates and excellent ball movement from Villanova. And in the Georgetown game, more of the same, poor defense. And they can't rebound. They haven't been rebounding the ball all year, getting massively out-rebounded, especially on the offensive end.
And moving forward from two seasons that are well into play to two seasons that are about to start, the softball and baseball season on the diamond about to start, we had the lucky pleasure of catching up with Chris Ahead and Alexis Walkden in studio. And welcome back to the show. Now I'm here with two very special guests from our Seton Hall softball team season about to get underway, Alexis Walkden and Chris Ahead. Guys, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
All right, Krista, we'll start with you. This weekend, you guys head down to North Carolina to play in the tournament at Gardner-Webb. How excited are you to get back into action?
We're super excited because last week we didn't go to Miami, so we were all excited to go to Miami, and then we didn't end up going. So now we're just super excited for North Carolina for our season to actually start. So.
And Alexis, your overall goals as a team coming into the season?
I think we just want to go out there and try to play every game to our best ability. It's not going to necessarily reflect on the board. We just want to go out and do our best, do what we try to do every game, and so if we do that, we'll be successful.
And back to you. Now, one season under your belt, coming into your sophomore season, what can you take from your freshman season under a 4 ERA to build into your sophomore year?
I can take that and just push for doing that again, and I try to help out my team any way I can and just work together as a unit instead of just trying to pitch my best, So my defense backs me up mostly. So.
And Alexis, 28 home runs a year ago. You're in contention for the 2017 Big East Player of the Year. Is that your individual goal, or does it go bigger than that?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that, honestly. I like to be there for my team, and I like to come through when I have to. And I think when you come through and do what you're supposed to, that's when you get to, get honored for things like that. But it's never been about that. It's always about, winning games, being there with the team. That's my favorite part. So.
And real quickly, what's a goal for you guys? Where do you guys want to finish among the Big East ladder, both of you?
First.
Yeah.
Big East Championship.
Big East champions, you heard it first, guys. And now we'll be back with analysis from more softball and baseball as the season's around the corner. And welcome back, and we thank Alexis Walkden and Chris Ahead for catching up with us before they head to North Carolina this weekend to play. And real quick, speaking of Alexis Walkden, 28 home runs last year. You couldn't ask for much more. Matt Ambrose, what are you expecting from her this season?
I'm expecting more of the same. We saw a big output offensively from her last year. You mentioned the home run total, 28 of those. Also, listen to this, a 495 on-base percentage. She's getting on base almost half of her at-bats. That's unbelievable. There's an offensive force in the middle of this Seton Hall lineup. More of the same this year, driving in runs, hitting the ball at the ballpark.
And this team got off to an 8-2 start last season, but finished 24-30. What do they have to do to sustain the winning record?
I think just having the new year for the Pirates is really going to be something that benefits them. Having a clean slate, Lauren Fisher is coming back from an injury last season that really ended her season shortly and abruptly. But the Pirates are ready to kind of bounce back. They have the lineup and the depth is really all there. Coach Paige Smith said everyone's going to get a chance to start in the first 3 tournament weekends, and bringing in a new assistant coach in Kate Nygaard really helps this team out.
And moving forward now to baseball, they head down to Florida this weekend to play Michigan. Most of the pitching staff is back, including Shane McCarthy, the ace, getting the ball in the very first game. Your expectations, real quick, in a preview of the season?
It's a big help that the 3 men in that rotation, McCarthy, as well as Cullen Dana and Zach Prendergast, are all back this season. That was a pitching staff that really did a good job last year. We all remember Shane McCarthy with the perfect game last year. A lot expected out of him this year. And even on the offensive end, guys like Joe Podoslenko and Mikael Ali-Mogs, guys like that in the middle of the lineup, expected to produce more this year. So the leadoff guys have to get on base for those run producers.
And offensively, they do lose Derek Jenkins. What do they have to do at the top of the order to get to that middle of the lineup?
I think just playing small ball, playing their brand of baseball. Coach Rob Shepard says it's best, get the first guy on, move him over, and then just bring him in with the third guy. So really just making sure the Pirates play their brand of baseball, not really straying from anything that they're not used to. I think Mike Alessio is one guy that's going to have a big season for the Hall. Aside from Mogs, Podoslenko, just had a lot of returning keys.
And we're looking forward to the baseball team and softball team getting their seasons underway. And basketball this weekend. The Nova game is going to be huge. We thank you for joining us for another edition of Hall Talk. For Matt Ambrose and Matt Lamb, thank you guys for joining us. I'm Dylan Schreibman saying so long till next time.